Welcome to the Australian Championship.
Shot up the post and in. Continue to make history.
This rivalry burns as bright as ever.
That is just spectacular. It's incredible fairy tale.
Here we go, ready for kick-off in Game 2 of Saturday's Round 2 action from the Australian Championship, live on SBS. Wollongong Wolves and Heidelberg United both coming in off first-up wins and looking to gain pole position for the race, well, for the top two in Group B and a quarter-final spot in this inaugural Australian Championship. Welcome to Collegiate Sports Centre, a ground once slated as a permanent home for the Wolves. Now they make their national return in Fig Tree against the reigning Victorian champions and Australia Cup finalists. It sets itself up as a very tasty afternoon of action indeed. Roy O'Donovan joining me in commentary today. Roy, looking forward to this round 2 clash.
Absolutely, like you just said there, Alex. Two teams full of confidence after, strong showings in the Australia Cup for Heidelberg and Wollongong Wolves with a new coach and Luke Wilkshire. They'll be up for this one. That's no doubt about that. But what I'm interested and intrigued about today, really, Alex, is I want to see how the matchup, especially in midfield here. I want to see how Yamamura and Isaac Danzo deal with Lesiotis and Marcus Humbert. That's going to shape the real kind of telling contest here today, with how they match up against each other. And yeah, it's an intriguing contest all around.
We'll get your tip in just a moment, Roy, but you can have your say as well today on who you think will win. The QR code just coming up on the screen there, and you can also head to the Australian Championship website, australianchampionship.com.au, head to the Game Day tab and tell us who you think will win. Before we head to the teams, Roy, got a winner?
Look, it's hard to call. I suppose with Wollongong Wolves, they have that home advantage. They'll be wanting to put on a show for their supporters after a win last week against South Hobart, but Heidelberg for me.
Here we go. Wollongong unchanged from their first up win over South Hobart at Darcy Street last weekend. Daniel Solsky resuming in goal. Tate Russell, a familiar name to plenty of Australian football fans, most recently with Western United in the A-League. Japanese import Kazuyu Yamamura made quite the mark with his goal from the halfway line in Tasmania last weekend. Captain Lachlan Scott leads the line along a returning member of the 2019 Premiership winning side in Thomas James. But Heidelberg have continued to ring the changes. 5 more for them after making 6 for their opening game after the Australian Cup clash. In come Paul Uach, in comes Jay McGowan, in comes Max Bisetto and Asahi Yokokawa, with Ryan Leflean in at centre half for Ben Collins, the captain, who's rested today with just a bit of general soreness, we're told by John Anastasiades. Your thoughts on those two teams? You give us your thoughts on the midfield, Roy, but what other areas are going to come into key focus here?
Yeah, I suppose their leader in Ben Collins coming out of the side will have an effect, no doubt about it, but it just shows the quality of the squad at Heidelberg that they can make that change. Again, I suppose Yamamura last week for Wollongong scored that goal from the halfway line. As commentators, as supporters of football, we want to see that again.
Declan Woods, our referee, just saw him flashed up on the screen here. 2 A-League games for him this season. I actually did Heidelberg's last game against Marconi as well. They're hoping he's a bit of a lucky charm for them today down in Wollongong on their first travelling fixture of this Australian Championship. Wollongong all set to go. Beautiful pitch down there. Gorgeous weather, about 22 degrees in Fig Tree ahead of kick-off. Paul Duach, perhaps fittingly to get us started today, he's going to be the focal point. Former Wollongong Wolves player as well earlier in his career. So all in readiness. Heidelberg wearing the traditional yellow and black strip. Wollongong in the all-red, kicking from right to left. Final check's done and we are underway. So what can we expect from today? Decent crowd in at Collegians. This purpose-built stadium for football, which was then bought out by Rugby League, but it's good to see the Wolves returning here. It looks like a fantastic atmosphere down there today as well, Roy.
Looks fantastic. It's great to see the people of Wollongong and the Illawarra come out and support their team, and yeah, they'll be hoping that they have their 12th man today.
Heidelberg controlling the early parts of this fixture. We should have expected as much. The last meeting between these two, all the way back in 1995's NSL, there was a bit of social media footage doing the rounds earlier today. Bobby Despotovsky with a double that day. Minio Bonatig, who's got a couple of sons running around in the A-League, with a double that day as well. Still heavily involved in football down on the south coast is Minio. And here's Yamamura, the star of the first weekend, really. Over 200 appearances in the J-League, over a storied career. He's won that competition twice. Very nice bit of experience for Luke Wilkshire to bring into his team. Nick Olsen was a gold medal winner, chopping in off the right. And another addition in Isaac Danzo, giving it back to him after a superb season with Rockdale. Ball moved out to the right, and a first forward run for the Wolves. And they've won themselves an early corner. Tate Russell getting forward from right full back. Something we should have expected, I think, Roy.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of that over the years in the A-League for Western Sydney Wanderers and Western United. But as you just touched on there, Yamamura, he's going to play a big part today, not just with his football skills, but his physicality as well, because Heidelberg are a big side.
James taking the ball short. Olsen would have been looking to get on his left foot. Certainly he's hoping that was what the Heidelberg defence would fall for. Scott lost his footing at the vital moment. And Fulton can run the ball free. Just looking a little bit of a focal point up there, with Juach coming out from lending a helping hand defensively. And now Wollongong can put their foot on the ball for the first time this afternoon. Kanizumi, someone with plenty of ball playing ability at the back. You can say the same of Dylan Ryan, the left full back. Humbert, and then the ball back in midfield for Heidelberg. And now Ali, we mentioned it in the pre-game, Roy. No Ben Collins today, not in from the start. Ryan Lethlean has done more than a capable job, often as his partner over the course of the season, but partnering Jamal Ali, who's been used as a fullback at different times over the season as well.
Yeah, but
an extra challenge.
Yeah, well, exactly. That's the strength of the squad that they have. Lethlean obviously scored a great goal and a memorable goal in the Australia Cup final for his side. Jamal Ali can play a number of positions. I've seen him play as a full-back, as a midfielder in the Cup as well this year. So, yeah, no problems.
They've won out here with the ball in the left full-back position and managing to work their way forward into an early throw. Ball right at the feet of Luke Wilkshire, who's taking charge of this campaign after most recently taking charge of them in the 2020 season. Had success in his last stint at the club, 2019 NPL New South Wales Premiers, before going on to win the national title in a very entertaining game against Lions FC down at one of their other home venues. They've bounced around Albert Butler Memorial Field. 3.5 minutes into this game, waiting for its first clear-cut opportunity. Heidelberg just looking a little nervy, Roy. Is that fair to say, with some of their ball playing coming out of their defensive half?
Yeah, a little bit maybe, but I suppose that's a credit to Wollongong, the way they've pressed early on. They want to put a show on for their fans. So, yeah, it's shaping up to be the intriguing contest that we hoped it would be.
Thomas James, one of those returning players, spent the season down with Canberra, Croatia in the Capital Premier League. And free kick's been found here by Declan Woods, right through the centre of the park. Otis brought down. See the replay here, just coming together on the wrong side of him, didn't he? Thomas James, as he was trying to win that ball back. Here's Ali. Not quite how he would have crafted that ball forward either. Built themselves on having such a solid defence, Heidelberg. Didn't concede until the final of their Australia Cup run against the Newcastle Jets. Best defence in NPL Victoria this season, but putting a bit of pressure on their defence early. Ability to retain possession. Let's see if they can build something nicely here. Lesiotis is someone who is proficient with the ball at his feet. Theodoropoulos, scorer last weekend. Game's only goal against Marconi, but he dives into the challenge on Yamamura. Free kick goes Wollongong's way.
Clever from Yamamura there, though. He just kind of he sucked them in, nicked the ball and won his free kick now, so he just buys his team a little bit of energy and takes the sting away. The Heidelberg were trying to build up a little bit of, what would you say, momentum with the ball.
Yamamura looking less direct than he was last weekend, but it's a nice switch of play for Olsen. James just getting an early touch, dropping in deep from the attacking line as that's stuck down the line by Russell. It's finding the feet of a Wolves player further up the pitch. Interesting season for Wollongong as well, Roy. Finished in mid-table. Lockie Scott's injury through the middle of the year really did affect them. He ended as their equal second top scorer with Marcio Vecchio. Nick Olsen, 15 goals, playing almost every minute of that campaign under first Warren Grieve and then Julio Miranda, who stuck around to assist with Wiltshire over the course of this campaign. As Bourgeois tries to make that run in behind, cut out by Kanaizumi. The amount of change at a club, does that affect the playing group at all, or is it everybody on best behaviour just to try and impress the new coach? Yeah, well, obviously change does affect people in different ways, but I think Luke Wiltshire coming back is a safe pair of hands. He's been there before, he knows the squad. This goal. McGowan coming down the right-hand side, someone familiar with the New South Wales competition, signing for Heidelberg at the start of the year from his campaign at the Sutherland Sharks as Yamamura tried to duck and weave his way through. Wanted the free kick, it wasn't forthcoming. Now Wolves will have to steel themselves defensively. So South Melbourne make good use of the long throwing tactic. It's not quite one of Heidelberg's goes. Uach was trying to make his way further forward towards the area. Between them, Wollongong managed to sort it out, and Ryan clever enough to win his side a goal kick to relieve some pressure. Both teams a bit of an early feeling out period, Roy, but neither straight into their groove here. No, and it's a funny one really, because you look at both midfields, got really good ball players, but the game just hasn't settled down yet. Down the left and really beating Scott to it. Could have gone out of play, the Wolves skipper. Collins out today. Jared Souza is wearing the captain's armband for Heidelberg. He's anchored that best defence in Victoria's NPL over the course of the season. Ball lofted over the top, which has given Olsen a chance to try and drive Wollongong forward. Playing as the right-hand-sided of the two tens that Wiltshire has operated with for the opening couple of games for this championship. Danzo playing the 1-2. Lovely little return ball. Can they find someone in the middle? It was just behind Marcio Vecchio. Still a chance to make something of it in the middle of the area. Tate Russell almost following up his initial good work. And now the free kick goes Heidelberg's way. Another bit of a let-off for them as Yokokawa got back there, but a beautifully worked move down the right, and Russell is causing some headaches for the Heidelberg defence early. Well, it was beautiful play initially from Nick Olsen, great feet to carve out the space, forward run from Tate Russell, but just that final delivery was behind the striker. Marcio Vecchio coming off scoring during the opening game, Wollongong's open goal of the championship. Last weekend, in the shadows of half-time against South Hobart. What fantastic scenes we saw down there at Darcy Street as well. Fantastic crowd in that lovely little venue as the shots fired in. That really developed from nothing, but Thomas James has made a reputation of creating opportunities like that. And it didn't quite catch Jaron Sosa unawares. He manages to tip it behind for a Wollongong corner. Very unlucky. That's why Luke Wiltshire's brought him back. He's capable of that. He's got that instinctive streak in him if he's allowed to play his game. And yeah, he'll have a big impact on this game and this competition if he keeps taking opportunities like that on. 16 goals in 17 games down in Canberra this season for Thomas James. They might look to try and find him again. This time it steered its way all the way to Harrison Bunel, who's always a big target for Wollongong up there. Such a striking centre half, a 22-year-old. Not quite able to steer this effort on target though. Yeah, good delivery. Defender lost his foot in there, and Bunel probably feel he should have done a bit better with that there. He had a free header. Big strong boy. Doesn't get a lot of goals though, Harry Bunel. Just the one across this season. One in 2024's campaign as well for Wollongong. Canberra native. Oh, they've really played themselves into trouble here, Heidelberg, and they had to be bailed out in the end. by Lethlean, who was coming across almost as though he was set out to play with Sosa. Theodoropoulos put his defence under all sorts of pressure with the ball across the face of goal. Bit of a let-off for Heidelberg, and then another cheap free kick given away by the Wolves in their attacking half. Lesiotis, again, is turning into the foul magnet. Heidelberg in the early stages. Goodness me, they haven't looked sure of themselves at all, Roy. This is not the Heidelberg we've seen for the last couple of months.
Not at all. Theodoropoulos scored a great goal last week. He nearly cost his team a goal there with that back pass. I just think Ben Collins coming out of the team at this moment in time has wobbled them a little bit, but I'm sure they'll find their footing fairly soon.
Wollongong's press must be commended as well. The defensive line under plenty of pressure early, right up for their home opener here at Collegians. Stand filling up slowly, and the hill behind the goal is actually seeming as though it's got a good glut of the supporters. The Wolf Den seem to have set themselves up on that side as well, making plenty of noise behind Daniel Solski's goal. It's a bit of a while between drinks for Luke Wiltshire in charge of this team, but last lost on the national stage is coming back before 2019. He's got a very, very good records. The new era has started very nicely for him indeed as well here. As Thomas James makes his way forwards, just looking for options. Olsen presents. Loves that left foot cutting off the right. It's a chip ball up towards Scott. Well taken by Sousa. Good piece of goalkeeping. Just read the situation as it was unfolding in front of him. And we will just check in for the first time today with Illawarra native. He's down there for SBS today. Adrian Archuli on the sidelines at Collegians. How are you, Adrian?
Mate, absolutely fantastic. I'm perched on the grass on the eastern side, looking out onto the western stand, which is jam-packed. Not many empty seats in the house. The hill is absolutely heaving. Looks like well over 3,000 here, which is a fantastic result. There's not many. If they were able to fit people behind the other goal, because that's not open, I think they'd actually be able to have some people there. But great start from Wollongong. Press is really getting to Heidelberg. Well, the pitch may look really good on surface on the television. Through the middle, it's a bit rough. I think Heidelberg's kind of struggling with that. It's actually quite a compact pitch as well. But Wollongong's definitely, in their faces, showing their quality as well. Obviously, a lot of new faces have come in, but you can really tell. Also, Heidelberg into the 40s now this season with their games played. You can kind of tell a bit, and here's a chance here. But it's just a great occasion so far, and a really good test for Heidelberg because everyone knows how good they've been this season. So be interested to see how this one plays out.
Thank you to Adrian down there. A few times over the course of the game just to get a few injury concerns that happened. Just watching here as Wollongong try to work their way out of their own ends. NSL champions back in 2000, 2001. Premiers in 1988 as they were at Wollongong City back then, which was actually the iteration they took on Heidelberg the last time these two took on each other back in 1995 as Marcio Vecchio makes his way down the right. Scott stretching to get there and had it blocked away by Ali, saving his goalkeeper from having to make a save. But McGowan's ball back has put Theodoropoulos under some pressure as well. Very nice bit of work from Humber to just get his side out of danger again. But Wollongong coming in flurries, particularly down that right-hand side at the moment, Roy O'Donovan. They're having quite a bit of joy there.
Lovely play down the right-hand side, and Lucky Scott didn't really get hold of that, and Lethlean, that big frame of Lethlean, was just in the right position.
Thankfully for Heidelberg, Scott just a little off balance. Injury-affected campaign that we touched on a little bit earlier in the broadcast. Has been the leader of this Wollongong side really since he's moved there. Heidelberg making their way forward down the left through Fletcher Fulton, who's managed to win his team an attacking corner. Tick towards the quarter-hour mark. There are the Den, we mentioned them. Some hearty fans there. Made their way all the way down to South Hobart last weekend. So it was a good bit of banter between the two sets of supporters. both enjoying their opportunity on the national stage again. Heidelberg ready to deliver. It's catching practice for Solski. He's got the cap on. Sunny day in Wollongong. These early kickoffs that we're bringing to you on SBS, meaning that some different challenges for the players, particularly for Wollongong, who played most of their games during the season at night. Friday night football is such a big part of NPL Victoria culture as well. Nice little move down the right from Jay McGowan, which has given his side an attacking opportunity from a second corner kick. This time it'll be the left-footed option of Humbert to deliver. In swing it towards Solski. Plenty crashing in there. Can they stick it home? It's over the line. And it's Jamal Ali claiming the final touch. Whether it was him or not, Heidelberg won't care. They've absorbed the early pressure and then sprung forward to take the lead against the runner play.
Well, it's a great delivery in the first instance, but, you know, got clear off the line. They had their chance to clear at Wollongong, and it was a bit of a mess in the end, and Jamal Ali was Johnny on the spot. Great delivery from Humbert. This was the one, great block. And then really never dealt with it again. And Jamal Ali, that'll settle the team's nerves.
Air swings doubling as dummies. Yokokawa got the first touch towards goal, and Lockie Scott couldn't keep it out. He's got a knack of this, Jamal Ali. 8 goals during the regular season, plenty of them from situations like that. It's a fine return for a centre half, and he's struck in the Australian Championship now for Heidelberg as well. Crowd at Collegians not quite shocked into silence, but certainly just pegged back a notch after what had been such a bright start to the game from their team. Wollongong, who had a perfectly even record across the course of their regular season in New South Wales. 10 wins, 10 draws, 10 losses across the 30-game season. They are the even Stevens. The record is due to square up this weekend, hoping to change all that with some of the incomings they've had. Getting themselves into trouble playing out from the back there. Lesiotis measuring something towards the back post. McGowan. Theodoropoulos squares it up. Lesiotis trying to unpick the Wollongong defence again. McGowan's ball is too deep for anyone in yellow. Now Olsen can stride clear. Perhaps a chance on the counter for Wollongong if he can keep his feet, which he's done nicely. Slaloming Lesiotis and feeding the ball out to James on the right. Took on his man. Final touch was his, according to Woods and his assistant Pat Talecki. And you can hear what the fans think of that, Roy O'Donovan.
I think they don't agree, Alex. I'm not sure. I think they don't agree with that one. But good positive play from Wollongong again. They're not taking a backward step, which is great to see.
Got the clean nutmeg, and I think he's got that spot on. Declan Woods. Too tidy for his own good.
Yeah, can't disagree with you there.
Making an impact early in this one, Thomas James. He was influential against South Hobart last weekend. Here's Olsen. Danzo. Someone mentioned in A-League dispatches over the last 12 to 24 months, really. His form with Rockdale Illingdon. Very astute signing for this Australian Championship for Luke Wiltshire. They provide plenty of ball-playing ability to their midfield alongside Yamamura. It's a bit of a weak point for them through the middle of the NPL New South Wales season. Low on bodies, low on quality in that area. Scored 2 of the biggest signings across the competition to strengthen them in that fashion. Got to get the ball to them though. Haven't managed to on this occasion. And Humbert is forward down the right. Kanazumi stooping to clear. Theodoropoulos. Nice ball. McGowan. There's a chance for 2 for Heidelberg if they play it right, as Juach's shot took a deflection on the way behind. Again, the Wolves fans and their players this time not quite agreeing with the decision. Heidelberg, who scored from their last set-piece opportunity, have got the chance to do so again just after the 20-minute mark.
It's amazing the psychology of football as well. You look at Heidelberg now, they're full of confidence after scoring from that set piece. And they're really, going forward. They look like a team now that's finding their rhythm.
But again, the last one was fruitful. This one's deeper. Really easy clearance for Marcio Vecchio on that far side. Not one of the taller players, but was in plenty of space. Humbert has a second bite. This one's cleared for James. Wolves have developed a couple of chances like this in counter-attack, but Yokokawa was dogged in getting over to win that ball. He's managed to work out a throw for Heidelberg right in front of John Anastasiadis. In fact, it was McGowan making his way over there. Not quite able to work it out down that left-hand side, Heidelberg. Team with such history on the national stage. Two-time NSL Cup winners after being relegated even from the National the National Soccer League, I should say. Continued to have great success in the Victorian competition. They're 6-time Victorian champions, 3-time premiers. Won't see any of the celebrations we saw in their grand final victory over Dandenong City with Max Bissetto, who's just been pinged for the foul there on Dylan Ryan for sliding in. No crash mat for the big Wolves defender. He's got quite a bit of the ball, but he's had to go through him to get it, which I guess is Declan Wood's assessment there, Roy.
Yeah, unfortunate there for Max Bissetto, who's been quiet so far in this game. They haven't really fed him the ball enough because he's a player that can change a game.
Scott getting a touch on looking for Olsen. Sousa happy to clear. And have plenty, the Heidelberg goalkeeper with A-League experience on the pitch this afternoon. Gowan, who has flitted out to that left-hand side. Bullies his way into a Heidelberg throw. Lesiotis. Heidelberg trying to be patient, trying to get their rhythm and tempo playing out of their own end. Ball almost holding up in the breeze slightly for Jamal Ali. This goal separates the two teams a quarter of the way into this game. Theodoropoulos. Here the Wolves players yelling to one another. This has been well organised for a team that hasn't been together for the entirety of the season. New faces that have bedded in nicely. Have been picked apart here. George is through on goal. I thought the flag might have stayed down. The action of the Wolves players told you otherwise. Sam Stewart, the assistant on the near side from our vantage point this afternoon. Having his flag raised for the first time. Humbert, clean win. Through midfield. He's left the ball behind that time, Ali. He's not afraid of getting forward, is he, the centre half? And now Bissetto with green grass in front of him for the first time. He goes for the lofted cross. Wasn't too far away from finding Humbert's head. He's had a fine start to this game as well, Roy. Someone who's come through City's academy. Looks to have been a very astute pickup. 2 starts from 2 for John Anastasiadis since signing for the club before this championship.
Yeah, Marcus Humbert looks like he's really slotted in very well at this level. Obviously set up the goal, but he looks like he's everywhere. His energy, his desire to be involved in the game, he's definitely making an impact so far.
Well, he just copped a bit of a kick from Lockie Scott, which is going to draw the ire of the crowd, but it was a little bit unnecessary, really, from the Wolves skipper. Nothing to be gained with that challenge.
Bit of frustration there, I think. They haven't really given Lockie Scott the ball a lot, so this was his first kick today, unfortunately. But I think Jamal Ali left it kind of open a little bit. He thought he could nick it, Scott, so I'll give him the benefit of the doubt there. I don't think there was anything in that.
That's not something you would have done back in your day, Roy?
No,
not at all.
No, I was always clean cut, you know me, Alex.
Now Wollongong continuing to just tot up the fouls, which are quickly accruing in Heidelberg's favour. Yamamura, not one known for that. No, he's an imposing presence through the middle of the pitch. Ali. He and Humbert have been playing a game between themselves at different times early in this game. Searching downfield for Theodoropoulos, who's stretching the legs, putting his opposite fullback under plenty of pressure and winning Heidelberg a throw in a very promising area. Bisetto. It back off Ali. Siotis just on a slightly different page to his young midfield counterpart, and Scott's allowed to turn with the ball. He's looking for the reverse pass to Marcio Vecchio. He's got pace to get on the end of those sorts of things. Just sticking in the turf, and now Juach has got a chance to get down the other end. Quite entangled with Kanaizumi. Bit of a wrestling move on the Japanese defender. Got a bit to control here, Declan Woods. This game's got a nice undercurrent of fire and brimstone, doesn't it, Roy?
So it should have. This is obviously it's the two heritage clubs. There's a genuine rivalry here that goes back generations. So absolutely, I don't mind that, and that's why he's been chosen to referee this game. But I gotta say, terrific defending there from Kanaizumi, because Buljuach, when he gets going and gets ahead of steam, he is quick.
Quite a character. Banry, the ever-presence across the Wolves' side for quite a while now. It's interesting, the research for this game, looking back at the team, Wiltshire coached that 2019 National Premier League title as McGowan's brought down by Danto, and the first yellow card is out. You could feel that building. Not a player you'd particularly expect to find his way into the book, Isaac Danto, but just as McGowan was starting to spring into a promising area, down again, down he went. Might have been a legitimate play of the ball, Roy, but it was badly mistimed if it was that.
Yeah, Jay McGowan just nicked that ball away. He was just a little bit quicker than Isaac Danzo thought he was. So, yeah, Danzo now walks the tightrope for the next 60-odd minutes of this game.
Point is just a 2 today. Centre of midfield alongside Yamamura.
What a 2, though.
Yes.
What a two terrific players in Yamamura and Isaac Danzo. Isaac Danzo, for the last 4 years, and his competition has been one of the best.
Ball fired in. Yokokawa from the set piece. Not sure whether that was quite by design, but he's won his side another attacking corner. Blasted into the 3-man wall. A little bit of a split means it deflects behind. I've been seeing too much of the action down that side of the field for their liking, the Wolf Den, in this first half so far. Yokokawa's ball, another chance. It was a relatively free header for Fletcher Fulton. Not a regular goal scorer, but again, they've been feeling as though he should have steered that on target.
I think Luke Wilkshire will have a big chat with his team at half-time. They're giving away far too many set pieces, and if you look at the size profile of the squad here of Heidelberg, you've got Lethlean, Jamal Ali, Fulton, some big boys in there. You don't want to be giving them too many opportunities.
Quality delivery so far today as well from Humbert and Yokokawa, from their proficiency over a dead ball. Lovely work from Scott to wriggle his way out of that little conundrum. Yamamura. Look at a settle play. We haven't seen Wolves really be able to put their foot on the ball since really the opening 10 minutes or so of this game. Didn't bear any fruit. Well worked out by Olsen to flick it inside for Danzo. Wide for James. And here's Lockie Scott. This is where they want him. Tried the spectacular. Kill hasn't arrived at the feet. I think Danzo was the intended target. James trying to unpick the defence with a ball for Olsen. Ball picked off by Fulton. We have turnovers coming out of their own half, and it might have built nicely for Tate Russell. Flashes across the face of goal. I think the last-ditch challenge is what saved Heidelberg. But every time he's been involved today, Roy, Wollongong have looked tremendous in their attacking third.
Excellent link-up play there. Tate Russell, when he gets ahead of steam as well up on that right-hand side, but the actual build-up play initially between Lachlan Scott and Isaac Danzo before Tate Russell makes that run was terrific, and yeah, that's a very important challenge from Fulton there.
Souza having words with his defence. There'll have to be some more tracking back done on the Wolves' right fullback. Interesting ball that bounced before it reached the first defender. A bit awkward for Wethlane to deal with, but he did it eventually. Jay McGowan is trying to stay with Tate Russell down that attacking right of Wollongong. It's proving easier said than done. Stuart puts Solsky under some pressure in goal. He's had an interesting season, Daniel Solsky, that we'll get to in a moment. Olsen inside the free kick. Masiotis giving him a kick right in front of the referee. And Mamoro's just drifted out to the left, trying to give Heidelberg a bit of a different look defensively. Olsen. Wethlane doing his job defensively. It's an agricultural clearance, but an effective one. Can they build here? Wollongong from that dangerous right-hand side of theirs. Jamal Ali's goal, the one that separates the two teams, coming just over 10 minutes ago. Heidelberg looked to have been buoyed by that, but Wollongong have worked their way back into this game in the last 5 minutes or so. Flicked over the top, Marcio Vecchio closest to it for Wollongong. Easy for Yaron Souza. I have to say, all his work so far this afternoon, Roy, has been fairly straightforward, hasn't it? He
hasn't been tested yet, except from a few back passes from his own team that puts him under pressure.
Almost spoke it into reality as Thomas James made his presence known. Ryan pushing right up from left full back, and it's fallen at the feet of Marcio Vecchio. Goes for a foul on Thomas James. It's not quite been as giving. To the Wollongong side of things at the moment. Just see Marcio Vecchio trying to duck back in for the 1-2. Wethlane gets in front of him though, and it looked like a pretty clean challenge from where we're sitting. Thomas James certainly didn't agree. And Luke Wilkshire's not exactly mincing his words with fourth official Blake Sanchez-Cruz.
Luke Wilkshire is well and truly in match mode there.
We're used to seeing him as the cool, calm and collected type. He did a very good podcast during the week talking about signing Yamamura. How impressed he'd been even from his first session. Very cool, calm type. Not so much today, with his team under pressure again. McGowan right to the feet of Juach. And Humbert looking for his first goal in Heidelberg United colours, and he wasn't too far away whatsoever with that effort.
He's been excellent today so far, and just I love the way he makes these forward runs, and he knows that the ball is going to Juach, so he got to get there. And he's very unlucky with the finish as well here when you see it in the replay.
Scored a crucial one for Melbourne City. It's academy side in their run to promotion this season. Not from a dissimilar area. Well, that one was on his right foot. This one just not quite getting the curl he needed to bring it inside the post. Nice run from Bisetto to make something of the hopeful ball. Can he go all the way? Bunel eventually across to meet him. Ball sitting right on that byline. Corner kick, the decision.
terrific defending there, because when Bissetta got his touch into that box, I'm thinking if he gets his body in front here, he wins the penalty. But very well dealt with by Wollongong Wolves there. Bunin especially.
He's had his work cut out for him. The big centre half. Signing from Tuggeranong United a couple of years ago as a 19-year-old. Got a very impressive campaign down in Capital Football's NPL. Called on again here. Well, that time it was Yamamura who climbed above the pack to make the clearance. Okawa's delivery has been very good from that side. Mentioned Humbert. Bissetta. Looking to bring that ball central. Left lane took a challenge as he cleared, and that's given Thomas James some space to run into. Left lane trying to recover. James strong enough to hold him off, but not able to get his head up and find Masio Vecchio. Danzo has a shot himself after the initial 1-2 didn't work out. And still Yaron Sosa to be challenged in this game, but Wollongong building nicely, hoping to find an answer on the scoreboard before half-time reaches us. Excited crowd in at Collegians. They've been right on the edge of their seats for the last 10 minutes or so. Wollongong have rained down pressure. Just missing that finishing touch. Or perhaps that final ball, Roy O'Donovan.
Yeah, look, Thomas James has been, so far, he's been excellent as that number 10 there. But I think you just touched on it. He failed to get his head up. It was Masio Vecchio has made a lovely run in the far hand side, and he never got his head up to play him early. In the end, Danzo's was kind of a token effort, but yeah, just playing that quick ball before Heidelberg gets set up is going to be vital to them getting back in this game.
We'll check in with Adrian Arciuli quickly. How is everything lining up down there pitch side ahead of half-time?
Well, I made a terrible mistake and didn't bring a hat, so I'm burning profusely, but sun's sort of going behind the grandstand now, but in Daniel Skolsky, he's thrown his hat away, but it's been a really seesawing contest so far. Heidelberg have really grown into the game. They just have a fearless playing out from the back. No, despite the pressure, they just play it, and it's fantastic to watch, really. The quality, you can see how they almost won the Australia Cup. Just absolutely a joy to watch. But for the Wolves, their best plays obviously come down through Tate Russell and Nicholas Olsen there on the right. When they come down the left, they've really found it hard to penetrate. And it's been, yeah, as I said, it's been a really interesting contest. These two teams are absolutely quality, a joy to watch. Crowd has fallen away since that goal. They were really hard to start with, but I think they'll get back into it as if the Wolves can jag one back here, they'll really get back into this one. But it's evenly poised at the moment. If the Wolves can get one back, it's game on.
Goals change games. Roy O'Donovan. We saw that with Heidelberg's opener. Sort of looking very cautious, and different times play, particularly out from the back, was looking a bit hairy. Since then, they've seemed to have just settled into their rhythms a little bit more. Wollongong would love an answer. Humbert making the enterprising run in behind. Kanaizumi cutting him off. James. Wrestled to the turf by Yokokawa. Immediate switch out to Olsen. They want him in space. He's not been given too much of it by the Heidelberg defence all afternoon. And there's more and more happening off the ball. Quite a silly sequence of events, really, between Max Bissetta and Tate Russell. I think Bissetta's about to go into the book. He is. He can laugh about it, for the moment anyway. The Wolves fans sharing in the banter with him along the fence. Crowd's been loud, but not quite so loud that I'm sure he wouldn't be picking up every second or third word down there.
Absolutely.
Here we go, a better idea. Just cut out of shot quickly, but Olsen getting in the wrestling match. Bisetto very, well, he thought gamely kicking the ball away. Declan Woods was right alert to what he was trying to pull off. So we're one apiece in terms of bookings. Nakawa, well, Carson Bunal. Tidy defending, pushing right onto the brink of what was legal with that little challenge on Yokokawa. He looks up in disbelief.
Yeah, tidy is a choice use of words there, but it was definitely effective defending.
Using his strength against the smaller opponent. He did have front position. Scott. Can Wollongong really make Heidelberg hurt for that one down the other end? James out to the left for the first time today. Something his shirt tugged as he moved in field. Wollongong have still got possession, so played allowed to continue. Danzo. Oh, and on the turn, Masio Vecchio. It's an inventive effort, just not quite able to execute what he'd drawn up in his mind.
Yeah, very unlucky. Again, Isaac Danzo showing his quality, just keeping the play alive. Heidelberg cleared the ball. Danzo, you know, he doesn't just boot it back in the box. He finds a pass, and Masio Vecchio had a very good season last year. He's definitely one of the players you want to get the ball in that area.
Teammates back in Rockdale once upon a time as well. Danzo was such a highly touted junior, was over having trials in Spain during his late teens. See that technical quality. Wouldn't look out of place in La Liga at different stages. Gowan was spinning on the football, and Ryan just helped him over. The referee's whistle, his rewards. What a move Jay McGowan's had. He was part of that struggling Sutherland team a couple of years ago during this cup run and during the Australia Cup final. He looks to have really improved as a footballer over the last 12 months with this move to Heidelberg, playing under John Anastasiadis. One more enterprise in his play, isn't there?
He looks like a man who understands his role for the team when he comes in, and you know, he always has an impact, especially in the Australia Cup this year. He certainly did.
Lesiotis. Heidelberg goes short from the set piece. Again, there's a Heidelberg player falling to the turf, claiming to have been blocked off. Whistle not blown, and Olsen's away. Just leaving it short for Thomas James, who desperately wanted that ball to reach him with a bit more pace. Pitch was watered before the game, right? It's not looked the slickest. Maybe Adrian telling us about how hot it is down there. Beaming sunshine has taken a little bit of the moisture out of the pitch. Ryan didn't beat Theodoropoulos. Yokokawa. That's sort of just treaded along since the goal, but Bisetto not quite timing his run. And Juach free. If he'd managed just to hold on a step, Heidelberg might have been in for their second, not to be.
No, but clever play. Yokokawa on that right-hand side. Bisetto making that run on the inside channel, and he just took a step too early.
What would the message be, Roy, particularly for Luke Wiltshire and Wollongong at the moment, heading into the break, because they have looked improved in the last 15 or 20 minutes, but just lacking that cutting edge really at the moment. I'll get your answer in a moment, because Masio Vecchio's trying to make my question null and void. Is it just about finding that final pass?
Well, I think that's a little microcosm of what they need to improve on. They've had no problem getting into the final third. It's that little bit of end product, you know. I think if they can get the ball through Yamamura and Danzo a lot more, they've got the weapons up top that can hurt Heidelberg, no doubt, and they're well in this game.
Got to be watchful defensively as well, because we know the attacking quality of someone like a Buljuach. Wollongong, of course, playing a part in his development. Luke Wiltshire was his coach while he was here, and he's on the end of this cross. Free header. Not a wolf in cooee of him, and he's nodded it the wrong side of the post. What a chance for Heidelberg to double their lead. And the surest head scorer in the competition down in Victoria this season has fluffed these lines.
Well, unbelievable delivery there from Jay McGowan, and he's svelte Buljuwatch, and you'd put your house on him there.
It's what he's made his name on this season. Through the Australia Cup run, through the NPL Victoria campaign. First big chance he's been presented with today. He's not it wide. Is there a little bit of a worry there for Wollongong, the way that Heidelberg are getting at them in transition as well, Roy? That's two moments like that we've seen in the last 5 minutes.
Well, exactly that. Heidelberg look like a team now. They've got that first goal. They're comfortable in how they're playing, and they know the more Wollongong try to come for them, they're going to leave spaces for Buljuwatch's pace in behind. Bisetto, Jay McGowan. Yeah, it is dangerous. But in saying that, that's just the way Wollongong are going to play now. They have to go and try and take the game. They're at home. Their fans are expectant. They have to go and try and get back in this game.
It's interesting how this group is lining up as well. Today is going to have a big bearing on who's chasing the top two, with Coney winners today, taking them level with both these two teams on 3 points. Today's winner is going to give themselves a nice little buffer 2 games in. Particularly with Wollongong taking on Marconi next weekend, and know that's going to be a big test. Humbert trying to find another ball through for Juach. This time it's Danzo sweeping up defensively, and the flag's up.
Well, Wollongong Wolves' offside line has been terrific today. Their position has been outstanding because Buljuwatch and Bisetto have been cut off now a couple of times. And from my view, it looks like they made great runs, but obviously not.
Playing right on the brink, Wollongong. Maybe one last bite of the cherry before the break. James. Flick it through a forest of Heidelberg bodies. Kamazumi just belts it out of play. So that's pretty close to the end of the first half. It is indeed, says Declan Woods. Heidelberg came out a bit sluggish, but the goal to Jamal Ali from the scraps of a set piece put them in the lead and got them running the right way. Paul Juach might have made it 2 in the closing stages of the first half. Plenty for Luke Wilkshire to ponder as the teams head down the tunnel at Collegians. At the break, it's Wollongong 0, Heidelberg United 1.
punt the fair goal for him. Fair goal. Thanks, guys. What an opening half here at the Collegiate Sports Complex. The crowd has been buzzing throughout. Heidelberg did solid to go with the opening goals. Have created several chances. Start with the ball in the back of the net. Now, the iconic Wolf Chase is on behind me here at half time. With 200 kids on the field. Great crowd. More than 3,000. The sun has just gone behind the fans behind me. Thankfully, because it's been a great atmosphere. The pitch has dried up a bit, which has sort of slowed the ball down a little bit, but Heidelberg have been fantastic to watch. Pulling on with their press and being exceptional. It's been quite tempestuous at times. Fiery for challenges that here or there. There's a huge second half coming up. It could really determine who gets out of this group, so really looking forward to it.
Second half coming up here for your walls. I want to hear the crowd. Let's make this our waters. Let's make this our walk. Now hold back. Let's get into it. Let's get behind our boys and let's bring them home in the second half here. Our score is over 1. Roll still. Let's get behind the boys and get loud. Big round of applause for your wolf.
Welcome back to Collegians. The second half about to get underway between Wollongong Wolves and Heidelberg United. The visitors have taken a 0-0 lead to the break, courtesy of Jamal Ali. A scrappy effort, but one that has given the visitors the advantage after the first 45 minutes of play. It was pretty even going, Roy O'Donovan, but probably say they deserve their advantage going into the break.
But for me, they need to not overplay too much in their own back line, because it'll give Wollongong opportunities, and Wollongong need to fine-tune their attack and play, and yeah, we've got a game in our hands, that's for sure.
No changes at the break for either team. Max Pacetto was getting into some to and fro with the Wollongong fans during the first half. He's flipped it out to this left-hand side to start the second. Let's see if he can be the key. He's got to be careful here, already riding the booking. Yamamura has taken that very quickly to get things going for Wollongong. A sign of their intent in the second half. That's as well for Thomas James, who's come deep. Has turned the ball over to Humbert. All action to start the second 45 minutes. It's not always what we got during the first, but that promises plenty for us as neutrals. And Wollongong are springing forward again. James, after the initial challenge, and going for goal himself. Dragging the shot wide of Yaron Sosa's post. Well, he's keen to make his imprint, isn't he, Roy?
Look, there's no doubt he's a good player. He plays with swagger. If I've got a little bit of a criticism for him, he's taken that one touch too many at times in this game. But there's no doubt he can unlock a defence, and he's a goal threat. But yeah, he's just turned it over cheaply at times for me.
You want that as a striker, don't you? That ball in behind nice and early. Let him get to work, Lockie Scott.
Exactly, and I think that's why Luke Wiltshire brought him back there, for that little bit of creativity to help Lockie Scott get into the game. But yeah, he's been a lot of swagger today, and just a little bit not enough end product for me so far.
Got 45 minutes to change that. Throwing goes Wollongong's way. This is how they started the first half, which was in the ascendancy. Anastasiadis, you can see in shot there. Not too impressed with the decision to give the throw against it. You'd expect nothing less. Scott with Ali in his back. The whistles are coming from the crowd, not from the referee. And we'll head down to the sideline. Adrian Archuli have been able to glean anything from half-time, and also the state of the pitch has been something that's caught our eye up here. What does it look like for you down there?
Yeah, had a good walk during the half-time. The wolf chase was happening, so I managed to just find a bit of space to have a look. But the middle of the pitch, yeah, it's not the greatest, but both teams, hats off to them. They've played their football through the middle there, and you wouldn't know that it was quite hard. It's quite rocky, quite patchy, but both teams, you wouldn't know that they have to deal with that. Out wide, it's fine, but it is starting to chop up a bit. They did water it pre-match, no water at half-time, which it probably could have used, but evenly poised, you could say. I think I was just popped into the shed just to hear, and you could tell the Wolves know that they're in this game. They've just got to put the ball in the back of the net, but as we can see, Heidelberg, they're just so proficient at both ends of the field, so professional. They'll be tough to break down, and it's a very exciting 45 minutes ahead of us.
Yokokawa getting forward there. Thank you, Adrian. Almost finding a ball for his opposite winger, Max Pacetto, to finish off. Again, this is something we identified towards the end of the first half, Roy. The flanks becoming more fruitful for Heidelberg as this game goes on. Yeah,
they're clever football players, and you can see if it's Pacetto gets the ball, Yokokawa makes that run to the far stick, and vice versa, and it nearly came to fruition there.
Gowan was offering short, but they've had plenty of joy launching these balls into the box. Solski diving out. Lesionis through the forest and into the back of the net to double Heidelberg's advantage. Not the purest strike, but unsighted the goalkeeper. And no Wolves player could get back on the line to block the effort. The visitors double their lead. Through the set piece again, Roy O'Donovan.
Yeah, again from a set piece. Lovely delivery in the first instance. It was cleared, and like the first goal, similar to the first goal, it wasn't cleared properly, and Lesiotis, perfect technique. Few bodies there in the way. gave him the advantage, but he doesn't care. He done the Tim Cahill celebration in the corner, 2-0.
Well, I might have given him a little less credit than he deserved. Kept the ball down and low, and it evaded all sorts of legs to bury itself in the back of the net. Heidelberg's heavy favourites now to move to the top of Group B. All the changes, all the rotation for John Anastasiadis, but it's the constants who have made the difference for him here. Jamal Ali after 16 minutes and Lesiotis just after half-time to give them some breathing room. And a big task for Wollongong now to come from behind. Collegians' crowd has been taken out of the game somewhat. Humbert continuing to really make a nuisance of himself for the Wollongong midfield. Doing the 3-2-1 voting at the moment. He might be right at the top of the list.
Actually, I think Humbert has been excellent so far, but Lesiotis isn't far behind him, obviously with that goal, but just his all-round play, the way he keeps the game going along, just does the simple things very well. He's a terrific football player for me.
So can Wollongong unpick their sturdiest of defences? Gedno came out on the front foot, full of energy and fire at the start of the second half. They've just been knocked back again by a sucker punch. The right boots of Anthony Lesiotis. Another of these Heidelberg players with A-League pedigree, signed with both Victory and City down in Melbourne. Scored in the round of 16 against the Western Sydney Wanderers in the Australia Cup run. Someone who scores just regularly enough to give his sides a bit of added cut and thrust. Saw the technique on full display on that occasion. And you look at the Wollongong bench as well, Roy, there's a couple of options for them there, and Klajic and perhaps Flynn Madden, Marcus Beattie is another player, Lucas Trajewski, one of the youngsters that's been brought through what has been an increasingly proficient Wolves Academy system. But it's a big ask for players like that when Thomas James and Lockie Scott have not been able to get past Yaron Souza, who's looking at a second straight clean sheet to start this Australian Championship. Chance to maybe push forward for a third here as well. You just see the bobble taken away from Yokokawa. Nice touch from James. Can he find that early release? Nice little interchange of passes with Scott. Ball has to go. It does now for Masio Vecchio. Olsen breaking his neck through the middle. Under the challenge of Ali, he goes over. Again, the boos ring out. Looked as though he just needed to be a little stronger there, the Wolves winger. Humbert bringing it out as Heidelberg try to go in transition. Joach has timed his run this time. The ball takes him wide. Bjornul making his way over in cover. Joach engaged him. Touch just a little too heavy. Decent football all round there, Roy, but another missed opportunity for Wollongong.
Yeah, but much better play. The link up, ball into Lockie Scott, they need to do that more. The drop off to Thomas James and the play in behind for Masio Vecchio, I think it's a great challenge for Jamal Ali in the end, but shows Heidelberg. They're straight back up the other side of the pitch and they're trying to get Buljuach in behind.
Been doing it down both ends today, Jamal Ali.
But Wollongong, the more they can get the ball into Lachlan Scott and the earlier, the more chance they're going to have in this game.
The captain, the key. It's a tall task for Wollongong from here. But with a rare error in his touch, which has allowed Dylan Ryan onto the ball. Danzo, just see that ball holding up and then bobbling through the centre of the field. Joach is going to try and make something of this. Bino held him off for just long enough so that Solski could take the ball right at the edge of his penalty area. James again, trying to dictate play from deeper. It's a nice switch as well for Tate Russell. Saw as one of Wollongong's best attacking threats from right full back in the first half. Ali making his presence felt further up the pitch with the ball through for Zhuach, and then continuing his run forward, Jamal Ali. Yokokawa on his right foot, just over the bar. Jamal Ali this time stepping out of defence. Lovely interchange of passes, and it almost released his Japanese midfielder to add a third. Wollongong have gone quickly in transition themselves this time. James beating his first man and forces the save for Souza. Fulton cleans up the scraps. Well, he might just have to go and do it all himself, Thomas. James.
Well, it's great to watch, and that's what I'm saying. He's got that swagger and belief in himself. It's great to see that. But, you know, his link playing out today, if he can get that better with Lachlan Scott, he looks like a proper player. This was terrific. All on his own, got the shot off, and there was no one following in. Positive stuff, though.
Heidelberg still needing to just have their wits about them. Wollongong have been good for a goal today. They're just missing that finish. That's, having said that, Roy, it's the first meaningful save that Souza's had to make across the game. Danzo. Ball more in hope than anticipation. Trickles over the byline.
But credit to both sets of players, though. This game has not lost that frantic spark from minute one. It just shows you the athleticism, the fitness of both these sides, and I suppose you'd expect that. They're 13 months into a season here. But, you know, the game is still very much in the balance for me.
Plenty for us to ponder over for the final 30 minutes or so of this game. As Adrian Archuli gets involved in the action down on the sideline. Yaron Souza thought he was wearing a yellow jersey. But the first lot of changes to follow. We'll check in with Adrian and see if he's just make sure he's all right down there.
We'll have to get his feedback.
Here we
on
go.
that one.
Oh, not quite up to taking Souza's gloves, perhaps. Seen worse efforts from sideline commentators, I have to say. Sebastian Hernandez has just made his way onto the field for Wollongong. And Paul Zhuach's afternoon is going to be over as well. So continuing his rotation policy, one of the new signings, Kieran Bramwell, a terrific season with the Melbourne Knights being brought on here. And we are going to see Ben Collins with his team giving him a lead to defend, as well as Angus Taylor. Was absolutely brilliant down in the NPL in Tasmania this season for Launceston City. Joint Golden Boot winner, 25 goals in 20 games for the new Heidelberg signing. Started last week, off the bench today. Taylor. Lesiotis got down the left. We'll check in with Adrian Archuli quickly. Keeping all right after almost taking that ball, mate. It was a good effort.
It was actually, I wasn't trying to catch that one. I was more just trying to protect the camera. I was going straight to our camera operator, Josh here. Picked up a few grass stains for it, but a bit of life from the crowd. But the Wolves will definitely bring it here in the second half. Let's just hope now they can find the back of the net. But Daniel Solsky, poor bloke, he's watched the ball going behind him twice, but he hasn't done much else. Heidelberg have been clinical at their set pieces.
Well, we've not given Adrian enough credit there. It's a terrific tip around the post.
I thought he was trying to compare himself to Selski there. I think that's what he was trying to say. And also his chinos need a bit of vanish this evening.
All in a day's work down on the touchline. Thank you again, Adrian. Sebastian Hernandez just going down, giving our little interchange there. Again, there's been a couple of Wolves players who've gone down looking for that decision. It's yet to come from referee Declan Woods today. Well, he throw long. They've got numbers again here, Heidelberg. They play it quickly. Taylor. Fulton joining in from left fullback. Eventually Far Humbert, who just hangs it up to the back post, waiting for a runner. McGowan headed centrally. Nobody in yellow there waiting for him. It's good enough from Marcus Beattie, who was the other of the Wollongong substitutes who's just been brought on. Very familiar face around Illawarra football, both his time in their Premier League competition and with the Wolves. Of a career that's really spanning a decade now. Solski under pressure, happens to just clear his lines. Half an hour to play. Bunel stooping to clear as the ball came through midfield. Left wing turning the favour. Yamamura just got his feet stuck under him. Lost the football. Fulton stretching his legs. And maybe getting a shot away. Just knocked off balance by Bunel's attention, but it was an enterprising run from the left fullback.
Great run by Fulton there. Of course, the Mike Cockrell Australia Cup medal winner. Full of confidence, full of beans, and just didn't get over that ball there.
Another of the Tasmanian natives. We've mentioned Angus Taylor. Fulton making the move up to Victoria a couple of years ago. So, yellow card out of Declan Wood's pocket for Lockie Scott. We saw him have a chip at Ollie in the first half. This time he's found himself with the book, or in the book rather. Heidelberg still throwing numbers forward here as well, Roy. They're not sitting on this 2-goal advantage at all, are they?
No, I think, and that's I suppose a great quality of a very brave coach, and John Astasiadis. I think he's quite comfortable with his squad and mixing things up, and he's not afraid to play attacking football. Even he's not here to protect the lead.
No. Yokokawa into a scrap with Russell, and this could be a promising sign for Wollongong. Brilliantly timed challenge from Lesiotis. Inch perfect.
Outstanding. Going both ways today, Lesiotis has been outstanding.
Russell down under Humbert's challenge. This time he does get the whistle in his favour. Not only did it stop the counter-attack, it almost started something in return.
Brilliant. Just stem the flow of any energy that Wollongong are going to get. Gets up, gets his head up, finds a pass. Brilliant football.
Exactly what you want from that man screening in front of the defence. It's been a mercurial performance from him today. Humbert's almost in that same category. Looking for the ball forward. Found Taylor. Just stumbling as he approached the football, and Kanaizumi can clear. Turned up there though. Ali. Lesiotis a little less tidy with his distribution on that occasion.
He's allowed one.
Yes.
No more.
See if any of these changes for Wollongong take them further. Both wide players, Beattie and Hernandez. Beattie was actually used through the centre of the park more often than on the wing by Warren Grieve and Julio Miranda during the season. It was more down to the lack of options they had in that area. Back out to his more comfortable wing position today. A little bit of untidiness attaching itself to the Wolves there as they look to play out. This has been a terrific run for Heidelberg this season. They were only denied the premiership by a defeat by Avondale, one of 3 games they lost all league season. It was a very competitive title race down in Victoria. Managed to avenge that with a grand final victory against Dandenong City at Lakeside. Towards the end of the season particularly, they've just been a winning machine for John Anastasiadis. only beating A-League clubs, but really doing decent numbers on them as well in their run to the Australia Cup final, which they only lost in extra time to the Newcastle Jets. Wollongong have just found the step up. A little too tall for them so far today. Still 25 minutes left. A goal back could buoy the crowd and reinvigorate the team. Interesting that Olsen seems to have moved into a more central position, partnering Scott up front as well now. Wollongong chasing this game. Russell heads forward to the aforementioned Olsen. Hernandez. Olsen, Scott. It's a chance for James. It's one touch, two, turns around. And McGowan, dogged in his defensive determination, dragged down, but no foul there. James trying to make the difference, but twisting and turning his way almost into having his back to goal there.
Yeah, again, he gets himself into a great position, but, you know, they know he's a threat. Heidelberg know he's a threat, so he needs to move that ball quicker, make his mind up. It's a shot or it's a pass. And he's done neither there, and he's just, you know, he's come undone.
Nice touch from Kanazumi initially. Taylor brave in heading the ball forward and then brings down Björnel. Big Saturday coming up for Wollongong if this result holds. Trip to Marconi Stadium to take on the Stallions, fresh off a 4-0 victory today. A hat-trick to Damien Sekenis, which you saw on SBS against South Hobart before this game. Last night, Apia Leichhardt, or West Apia I should say, slip of the tongue there. 4-0 winners over Sydney United. A dominating display at Leichhardt Oval in front of 4,500. It's been great to see the fans get around this competition, Roy. Both down in Melbourne last weekend, over 6,000 to the opener at Lakeside. Friday nights look they're going to be quite the spectacle, and obviously having these games brought to you on Saturday afternoons on SBS. Fantastic summer of football starting up across Australia. Ali. Let's move forward with Collins' substitution into the holding midfield role we know he's proficient in. Zumi asking a bit of Scott, which he did well. Yamamura hasn't been able to provide quite the game-breaking moment that he was last weekend down at Darcy Street against South Hobart. Flying into the challenge was Kanazumi. Brave piece of defending. Heidelberg happy with the ball in front of them. You can see all 11 players behind the ball now. Quarter of the game to go. 2-goal advantage given to them by Jamal Ali on 16 minutes. And then the right foot of Anthony Lesiotis. Just 3 minutes after half-time has given them this more comfortable 2-goal advantage. Scott still working hard, but well marshalled again by the Heidelberg defence. All-time challenge from Ryan, and now Yamamura. Hernandez taking on Fulton and beating him to the byline. Tidy piece of keeping from Sosa. Saw it all the way. And on the second attempt managed to reel it in. That's what they need from the wide men though.
Great to watch though. Sebastian Hernandez, that's what he's been brought on for, to be direct, to take people on, to force the issue. More of that, please.
Well, they've got some defending to do going down the other way. Okukawa gets the ball back off Taylor. Oh, and he just stumbled at the vital moment, slipping on the turf. He's got the screw-ins in. Just a little too keen to get that ball into the box.
I think you need more than screw-ins in this surface. It might be good for rugby. It doesn't look great for football, to be honest.
Danzo. That's him at his best. Yamamura couldn't beat the attention of Left Lane, who was stepping out of the defensive line. The opportune moment. Collins getting his first touch, started last weekend. The leader he's been for this Heidelberg United club since signing from the Melbourne Knights back in 2023. And the growth of this team has taken them right to the very top, hoping for an Australian championship. Taylor looking for his first goal in new colours, and it came to Ali, who's got his goal-scoring boots on. The finish left a bit to be desired.
Yeah, terrific play by Taylor, really perfectly weighted pass, just hopped up again on the pitch, but Jamal Ali, he's everywhere.
And he seems to have boundless energy as well, getting up and down.
You got to give credit to both sets of teams though. The tempo of this game has never dropped. Yeah, just bounced up there, hit him on those shin pads, and up it went, up and away.
Kieran Bramwell, you just saw in the replay there, crying for the ball, as every striker should. That's my job, mate. Collins wins the free kick off an increasingly frustrated Lockie Scott. So superb on the opening day. Just dragging down Collins, not for the first time. Defender getting in front of him. Cutting down his path to goal. Just putting some tapes, sneaking out from the compression shorts as well. Yamamura's afternoon is over. Thought we'd cited Beatty already. Now he is with us. And it looks as though he will be coming into that central midfield role.
Number 10, Owen Kadish.
Nick Olsen's afternoon, the gold medal winner down in New South Wales, is the best player in New South Wales NPL. Not able to make the telling impact today. So a chance for Obrun Plajic. If you think you recognise the name, because he was part of the Lions City Sailors team that's part of the ACL2 semi-final, made it all the way to the final against Sydney FC earlier this year. Played off the bench in both legs of that semi-final, victorious semi-final for the Singapore side. Teammates with Bailey Wright over in Southeast Asia. Turning himself into trouble there was James, and the shots fired in from long range. Catching practice for Solskjaer. He's had an interesting season himself, the Wolves goalkeeper. Had to wrestle the number 1 jersey off Oliver Yates, who started as the preferred option in goal under Warren Grieve. He's held that position pretty much ever since. Unlucky not to claim a clean sheet down in Hobart on the opening day. McGowan down the line. Chance for Yokokawa. In fact, he hasn't been one of the real focal points for them. I think suggests there is more than enough attacking quality to go around for this Heidelberg side.
Yeah, definitely. I think, and look, on the balance, I think there hasn't been much in this game. You could probably say that Wollongong haven't worked the Heidelberg goalkeeper and Jarn Souza enough today, and Heidelberg have been clinical from the set piece. But Luke Wiltshire come away from this game thinking there's not much in it, we just need a bit of fine-tuning. But yeah, like just touching on your point there, I think Heidelberg just squad wide, they just got quality everywhere, haven't they? Just players that can come on and they know how to win.
We talked about at the start of the game the amount that John Anastasiadis has been able to rotate this team from Australia Cup final action to the opening day against Marconi. Should be said they were lucky not to concede a goal or two late in that game. Hoping not to fall into that same trap today. Marcus Beattie's going to ask the question of them. Striding through midfield. Options to both sides. Looks to go himself. Didn't catch it cleanly. Trickles into the fence in front of the Wolf Den. Been rather subdued in this second half.
Positive play though. The whole defence of Heidelberg dropped off. They gave him the space. He just didn't get a clean connection in the end. He just dragged his shot. He maybe tried to do too much with it. But positive play overall.
He's got that running power, we know. Beattie putting himself about again, winning the ball off Taylor. And Hear the referee and our effects mates there. Just a throw, and it's gone in Heidelberg's favour as well. Just to rub a bit more salt into the wounds. Nice touch from Bramwell. Still allowed Danzo to play it wide. James. Well, he was making the underlapping run, but he's probably a step or two short of providing a meaningful option. John Anastasiadis is going to empty his bench. And what a fantastic performance it's been from Marcus Humbert, who is being brought off. Akil Rafi, who put in a pretty solid display. And the number 10 position has been brought on for Asahi Yokokara as well. Chokdao is going to see a little bit of playing time towards the end of the second game in the Australian Championship for Heidelberg. Trying to keep their perfect record intact. Ball to the top of the box. Swept away by Fulton. Here is Dow. First touch since coming on. Looking at Danzo, who's adept defensively, but I'm sure he quite wants to be stuck in this 1-on-1 situation. Dealt with it pretty well. Collins. Danzo just attached at the hip with Dow. Coming through midfield. And this will work just nicely for Heidelberg. Keeping possession. Ticking the clock down. Kanaizumi with a cool head for Wollongong. Ryan. And just catching McGowan as he looked to get the return pass from BT. Speaking of players that have covered a bit of ground today, I think he's well entitled to just take a lie down here. Jay McGowan.
Yeah, he's a good player as well. I think, you know, we saw, especially in the first half, when he gets time and space in the ball on that right-hand side, he can pick a pass, he can find a cross, and, you know, on another day, Buljuach would have definitely had a headed goal today from his delivery in the first half.
He's Dow allowed to churn on the ball away from Danzo this time, facing up Buzel. Back to Fulton, whose weary legs might just have that ball evaded him. Going to see one more substitution here for the Wollongong Wolves as Lockie Scott's afternoon comes to an end. More diminutive figure of Flynn Madden. It's a regular starter for Wollongong towards the end of the season. Started every game from round 21 until the final day. It's a heavily rotated side from Julio Miranda against Blacktown City that day. It's a player who's expecting to play an increasing part as this championship wears on. Hernandez just stepping on the ball. Taylor plays it behind Bramwell, who did well to make anything of that once the ball took him wide. Wollongong now just struggling to get out of their own half. James again. Converged upon by 2 or 3 Heidelberg players, and Kanaizumi was late in the challenge. That was a nasty one. Bramwell just stepping in front. That's going to earn the Japanese defender a booking. Third Wolves player to find their name taken by Declan Woods today. See nothing untoward there, but a heavy touch so often leads to a less than satisfactory challenge.
Bloody defenders, kicking strikers all day long. Poor striker.
Well, Bramwell will be happy enough if he can find his way onto the end of this set piece. Alessiodis was feigning as though he wanted to go short. He's devoid of options, gets the tick off from the sideline to hoist the ball in. Or is it something off the training ground? Look to find Jamal Ali. It's a smart little ball in behind from McGowan. Ali quite able to bring it under his spell. Bramwell again in front of Kanaizumi, the second time in a matter of moments. There's a decision here to make for referee Woods. Just a free kick. Right on the edge of the area. Might be able to count himself lucky, the man wearing the armband now for Wollongong.
Yeah, but terrific referee in there, you know, because he's just booked him. Could quite easily run in there, give him a rash red card, but, you know, he said, you know what, there's not much in it. Heidelberg are 2-0 up and comfortable. That's good refereeing for me.
Good bit of opportunism from Bramwell as well. A couple of times in a couple of moments here. This is an even more promising position than the last free kick he was able to win. Looks as though Chok Da is going to be given the responsibility. Didn't score over the regular season in NPL Victoria. 6 goals last year with Preston. Now over this set piece. Oh, watch on. Oh, he struck the crossbar. Solsky unsighted. And that was nearly the cherry on top of a very professional Heidelberg performance today.
Well, that would have been the goal of the weekend. Terrific technique here. Bent it right over across that far left-hand top corner. Goalkeeper was nowhere near it. And he was just happy it hit the crossbar.
And it was so close. You almost think for players, they wanted a yard or two further back than that. Perhaps we just saw evidence of why. Gorgeous strike of the football. Very unlucky not to be rewarded. Final change for Heidelberg. Ethan Sardellis going to be brought on. And Lesiotis' afternoon is over. What a terrific display it was from him in midfield.
Very assured, very mature, ran this football game. Terrific.
Now a chance for a youngster in Sardellis to run it out, just 18 years of age. Made his debut last season, the middle of the year against St Albans. Been a squad player, see if he can make an influence late. McGowan smart enough to see the ball out of play. This is interesting in terms of how it sets up the group, Roy. We have a couple of teams on 3 points in Wollongong and Marconi ahead of their meeting next weekend. That game takes on, well, it was already one we had circled, but Wollongong had a good record against Marconi this season, got a win at Marconi Stadium and managed to get a point as well at home. Let's be looking at that fixture with hope, but knowing they'll probably have to step up a level from what they've shown here. Dow almost away. Just a slightly heavy touch. How important is that? Is it a knockout game of sorts for them next weekend?
It's a huge fixture, but I also think as well, Wollongong Wolves coming in here to this championship, it was always going to be difficult. Like Heidelberg, they're a top side. They're a top side. They could have won a treble. They could be on for 4 trophies this year with the Oz Championship included in that. But what I'd like about Luke Wilkshire's side is his recruitment. I think he's got his midfield right, and on a better surface against Marconi at the Palace, I feel like they're going to be well in that game. I think they can cause an upset there for sure.
And we might head down to Adrian Archuli. How is the atmosphere down there? The fans resigned just yet, Adrian?
Yeah, fairly subdued, fellas. I think Heidelberg are just having an inevitability about them. They are just a joy to watch. I think what Roy said earlier regarding the Wolves is so true. They just need some fine-tuning. You can tell this is a contest between a team that's been together for a whole year and then a team that's been together for a month or so, because the Wolves have shown green shoots, but as I said, goals change games. They haven't got it. And Heidelberg have.
As Taylor finishes that one, a mistake from Solsky, and a first goal in Heidelberg colours for Angus Taylor. Took the ball inside, a little bit of luck, but Heidelberg have their third and will take all 3 points with them back to Melbourne. flowing move. Not the prettiest of finishes, Roy, but probably just deserves for the way they've closed out this game.
Yeah, well, chucked a lovely ball out there. Angus Taylor, really positive football. Didn't strike it that well, and I tell you what, Selski won't be happy with himself there. He's dropped that in, but that's the cherry on the top for Heidelberg, and you've got to say they've more than deserved the win today.
And a nice moment for Angus Taylor, scorer of 25 goals, the joint Golden Boot winner down in NPL Tasmania this season with Launceston City. An astute signing by John Anastasiadis to just bolster this lethal attacking lineup even further. You can see not too many making their way out. It's been a fine Sunday afternoon. A great return in a new era of football down in the Illawarra. Not quite the result they were looking for. But 3-0 probably not reflective of how competitive they've been in this game, Wollongong.
Definitely not. And I think Wollongong, they will get better and better. I think the more they get this kind of side bedded in, and Luke Wiltshire works with them and makes it more of a kind of a dynamic group. But I have to say, great credit again. We see the sign there. It's a new era, but it's, you know, still the heritage clubs, the history. There's a lot of history on the pitch here, and it's good to have the likes of Wollongong Wolves back in the big time. And I'm sure the people of Wollongong and the Illawarra will be delighted to have a team back competing. And as much as Heidelberg were the slightly better team today, I'm sure it was still a great day out for everybody.
See some of the youngsters there. Just looking to trade that blue and white striped jersey for a red one down the track. Still plenty packed behind the Wolf Den, enjoying the sunshine. Just waiting for Dylan Ryan to return to his feet here. He's been taken to the touchline, but looking as though all is going to be okay for him to see out the rest of this game. Ooh, and just a little from Fulton, which has allowed Hernandez in. He's hit the crossbar, and then the rebound fell to Madden, who couldn't steer his effort on target. The fans denied the goal they'd been waiting for. But it was that close, and it was another slip defensively that opened the door for an attacking player in this game.
But Sebastian Hernandez was expected a mistake like most good attacking players do, and Wollongong definitely deserved a goal today, and he was very unlucky. Lovely technique to get it beyond the keeper, but unfortunately he couldn't get it beyond the crossbar, or under the crossbar I should say.
Heidelberg have been living a charmed life in terms of their goal. Mentioned those two big chances against Marconi late last weekend. Still Yaransozi yet to be beaten in the Australian Championship. Can they add a fourth? Dow is down the left. And Bunel using his big frame very smartly to see the ball out to play. Saw him bundle over Bull Juach during the first half. Strong boy.
He's been terrific, I think. He's done a great job. Before this game started, we would have picked out Bull Juach as one to watch and a real, you know, game changer for Heidelberg, but Bunel done such a great job on him. But it was everything else. The set pieces really today hurt Wollongong in a big way.
Taylor losing his footing as he made his way over to cover Tate Russell. Left lane able to head clear. Danzo getting it back off Hernandez. Quite able to turn with the ball at his feet. Klajic. On in his direction again. Here's the moment as Fulton just lost his footing outside of the boot. It was nice technique actually to get the shot away. And Madden will have his head in his hands thinking he might have done better as well.
Yeah, Madden rushed it.
Awkward height for him, as is this ball which comes in. Collins able to clear his lines. So Heidelberg, they'll go top of the group with this victory. Return home to Olympic Village for a 1 p.m. Sunday kickoff next weekend against South Hobart. Should be able to catch via SBS On Demand. And that's a pretty straightforward yellow card for the Wolf substitute. Bit of an unnecessary one, all things considered. Referee smart enough to Draw the error from his opponent. As things just wind down here. Reminder, we've got 5 more games from round 2 of the Australian Championship to come your way tomorrow, kicking off at 1 o'clock. 2 games there. Sydney Olympic taking on Broadmeadow, and Canberra, Croatia hosting Preston. 2 historic clubs, in fact 4 historic clubs taking back to this new era of the Australian Championship. And then 4:30 a treble of games available by SBS On Demand as well. Bayswater City hosting Metro Stars in what's going to be a big game for the complexion of that group. Free kick given against Ali, who's very disappointed to see yellow. Goal got the scoring started today. Might have added a second as well. A little way into the second half. Perhaps something or a chance here for Wollongong to claim a consolation. Madden, who had a half-decent opportunity himself not 10 minutes ago to deliver this ball, swinging in towards Yaron Sosa. Can Wollongong beat him for the first time? Ryan was flying there. Collins well positioned. Nods the ball behind. James, at the centre of everything attacking Wollongong have done today. Puts the pressure right on Sosa, who punches clear. Whistles come from the Wolves fans again. And a couple of Heidelberg players stopped because of that. Ball fired across the face. Fortunate it didn't lead to them copping their first goal of the competition. Madden. The back heel of James returns it to him. Flicked up more in hope than anticipation. Sting just beginning to go out of this game. Delivery from Ryan. Again, Heidelberg tidy in their defensive work. Down, leaving the ball behind. Beatty just got a foot in to put him off his mark. Danzo. And Hernandez. Scooping it to the back post. Tidy piece of goalkeeping again. Yaron Sosa, he's been so impressive in his general work. The youngster who was over at Istanbul, Başakşehir here. Turkey's Pro League, before returning to Australia. Bit of time with the Central Coast Mariners a couple of years ago. Wearing the captain's armband for the majority of the game today, with Collins forced to start off the bench. And that rest might come in handy at the end of a big campaign for the Heidelberg skipper. The trap that Wollongong were falling into early in the game. Giving away set pieces, and ball headed just over the bar. Klajic flying into the box, not able to keep his header on target. But he and Kanazumi running for it. Wolves' best opportunities in this second half really have come from dead ball situations, haven't they?
Yeah, and the delivery has been pretty decent, to be fair. The forward movement from Klajic there was pretty good, but his contact on the ball was probably just a bit heavy.
Wanted to stick with us after full time as well. Josh Parrish and Scott McDonald will have all the highlights and a rundown from this game. Some post-game chats with Adrian Archuli still at the grounds. James belts this one in. Flip delivery. Again, Collins well positioned. That's what he's made his career on. Still only 25 years of age, a young leader in this Heidelberg team. But pretty youthful across the board. Yaron Sosa, 28, the most senior of their players. Hopefully for John Anastasiadis, a few more years to keep this core together and continue them running forward. The run they've had this season can only do them the world of good. Hasn't been their best performance, but the fact they're still going to come away as 3-0 winners tells you all you need to know about their professionalism, ability to take an opportunity. That's been the difference, hasn't it? It's been so clinical in both boxes, Roy.
It really has, and that's surprising to hear that the age profile of their squad is so young. Their senior player being Jarn Sozer at 28. It's very exciting for Burgers fans as well if they can keep this group together, but I get the feeling that there'll be A-League clubs sniffing come January, no doubt about that.
Hopefully a good crowd down at Olympic Village for that clash next Sunday as well against South Hobart, this winning side, which have given their supporters every reason to get excited. Another trophy tilt has started in fine fettle. Kanaizumi. Can the Wolves salvage the latest of consolations? Flynn Madden to the right-hand side. Fell short of Fernandez. Fulton's barely put a foot wrong all afternoon. Wins his side another free kick just to relieve the closing danger. There's 3 other games tomorrow that I mentioned briefly. Bayswater against Metro Stars in Group D. South Melbourne, hosting Moreton City Excelsior. And Spirit FC against Avondale, kicking off at 4:30 p.m. And that is that. Heidelberg went into the break with a 1-goal lead. They finish with 3 of the best. Jamal Ali getting on the score sheets before half-time. Out of the break, Anthony Lesiotis lacing one home. And then Angus Taylor with one Solskjaer will feel he should have done better with. A disappointing outcome for Wollongong, but plenty to be buoyed by for Luke Wiltshire and this team that has come together at a late stage and is still trying to find its feet. They move level with Marconi on 3 points after the second round's action. It's been great to have your company on SBS this afternoon. Make sure you stick around for the post-game coverage with Josh Parrish and Scott McDonald, but it's finished at Collegians. Wollongong Wolves 0, Heidelberg United 3.